Welcome back. You're watching Signature Morning on Signature Television, and we've been talking to Barrister Kingdom Nnamdi Okere. He's giving insight into the speech by the president that happened on Sunday, even though many personnel commended, some others also picked holes. It does look like he's picking some holes from that speech, talking about the fuel subsidy, specifically what the president did not that speech. Mr. Kingdom, thank you again for being in, but just
so
briefly, if you can finish on the
much.
thoughts that you were having earlier.
Thank you so much. It was interaction. So that yes, the three presidential candidates, the three major presidential candidates identified the subsidy. And I also said that before the removal, now, we didn't know that we benefited directly or indirectly, all of us. Now that it is obvious that this subsidy actually benefited every citizen, directly or indirectly, we are calling on the president to remove the corruption in the reform subsidy and restore it. That's
Okay,
one
I
of the
was
prayers.
asking that the end point of the removal of corruption or doing an audit on NNPC is the fact that more monies will be available to the federal government. I was saying that there has been more monies already for the federal government, so much so more monies given to the state in allocation monthly. But we are not seeing this now. Why is the protest not directed at the governors? Why not? Why is the protest
One of the
directed at the
points I
president, not
was.
the governors?
You are very correct. You are very apt. We are on the same page. Apart from of the president removing corruption and restoring subsidy, another issue I was going to address is money that is going to the states and the need for the president to also fight corruption, no matter whose horse is God. For instance, now, you see an administration that the ruling party, led by a man who we all saw in a viral video, was collecting dollars in bribe and was putting on his car. And that person symbolizes national leadership of APC. So that clearly shows you that the present administration of Bola Ahmed APC-led government is not going to sincerely corruption. That is the simple truth about it. First of all, you have to give your government certain image, like removing the symbol, the thing and the man, the name Gando Dollar. Restructure your party, look for a man of credibility and integrity. Make the national chairman of the party. Or let your party symbolize reform and the anti-corruption. Two, the issue of money to the governors equals to more money to loot by the so-called governors, but I would rather call them emperor. These are the people that have refused our local government support since 2003. This set of local government chairmen that were elected in 1999, that President Obasanjo in his first tenure. Since after those first set local government chairmen were elected, no other state have had it the same again. Until this administration had, through the Attorney General, instituted a suit, and it has been settled by the Supreme Court, and we are on the president and the Minister of Finance to immediately withhold the allocation of local government where there are no democratically elected local government administration in place, in accordance and the decision of the Supreme Court. So the money to the states arising from the removal of fuel subsidy, they now have more allocation at the end of the month. Revenue Allocation and Mobilization Commission equals to more money to loot governors. It's not making any significant impact in the lives of the people in the states. They are still going about, irrespective of more money, more allocation. They are still borrowing. And what they are just doing, what is the money into dollar and starting in foreign, the states, the subnationals, it's just a critical stakeholder in reducing our economic poverty, in building in empowering the people. They have failed.
Barrister Kingdom.
So I will even advocate that if the subsidy is reformed, allocation, certain percentage from state allocation should go in, because it is now obvious that everybody benefited from it. Either it's woman, either you're a farmer. In fact, for you to eat yam in the east, it has to be imported from Benue. For you to eat tomato in the east or eat onions in the east, it's transported from the north. It will have to come from by Cantrell that will run on diesel. For you to eat garri in Abuja or to eat garri in the northern part of Nigeria, it has to come from either the east or from the midwest. So these are the railway system is not working. We had an administration for 8 years. We had administration for 8 years that prioritized Kanu to Umara railway. When there is no railway that connects Abuja to Enugu to Port Harcourt, that can transport tomato, that can transport onion, or other president prioritize Kano Maradi Express railway line. So what I'm saying is that the subsidy has proved to be petroleum product has proven to be of Nigerian economy. For us to eat in this country, for us to fare very well, our food has to be transported. We have, not only food, individuals also have to from one place to another. So the issue of more money to the states equals to nothing. It's not making any significance in the lives of the people at the sub-national level. It's only giving them more money to loot. More money to loot. So we are, if the subsidy is reformed and restored, a certain should be deducted directly from the revenue mobilization account, a subsidy fund from the states, because everybody is benefiting from it directly. That is the lesson of the past 1 year. The lesson Nigeria on us, it is clear on everybody now that we all benefited from subsidy or the other, directly or indirectly. We all benefited as citizens of this country. No,
Barrister, I was going to ask you, like part of the protests, it does look like the numbers have been dwindling since Sunday. You are located in River State, I guess. So I was just going to ask, what other things that are on that and that the president did not speak about or the president did not react to?
Like you, this protest, the government initially they were chasing shadow politicians sponsoring the protest. To the best of my knowledge and within my participation, it was a social media awareness to end bad governance in Nigeria. I didn't see any single money bag that sponsored the protest. I never came in contact with any such person. So several groups that promoted the protest had several demands, but at the same, all the demand was the issue of restoration of subsidy and removing the corruption in subsidy. Like lawyers in defense of democracy, one of the conditions we gave was reform the entire country. Like I've told you, if this is a government that is serious to fight corruption, the man who is at the head of the ruling party was seen in viral putting bribe on his head, covering it with his cap as a sitting governor of Kano State. It is all over. You can see that guy. Google it, you see it. It's there. You can't delete it. So that is the person symbolizing the ruling. He should be removed immediately and let a man of credibility head the party. Judicial reform. The judiciary is in a mess. We, as well as in defense of democracy, one of the demands we asked for in this protest was judiciary, so that the common man can have hope in the judiciary. That this judiciary is the last hope of the common man, and that will help you to abide within the ambits of the rule of law. Where you think that you cannot get justice, you have every tendency to want to take the laws into your hands. So that's what I'm saying. This is that there are several groups that promoted the protest, and all of have put forward various demands. So The president don't address any of these demands. I have mentioned the issue of restoring subsidy, removing the corruption in subsidy. I'm talking about fighting corruption, which a ruling party should start by first of all purge itself of the elements of corruption. You don't put a man that you see in a viral video putting dollar
All right, barrister.
bribery on himself.
Barrister.
We talk about judicial reform. INEC, as well as in defense of democracy, talked about electoral reform. Put a man of credibility. We must change the way we appoint INEC chairman. That cannot be seen to happen under Tinubu election. I'm telling you the things, some of the demands we made as lawyers in defense of democracy. Electoral reform.
Yes, Barrister Kingdom, just two issues. Then probably allow my co-host actually ask other questions. During the protests, we've seen protesters wave the flag of Russia on our country. We've also seen other persons who have looted shops, who have, caused chaos on the street, because again, you can't force everybody to do protests. We've seen people who blocked roads, who stopped people from going about their businesses. And this was what government have, said that they do not want, that they hope that this particular protest is in one way very peaceful. But so far it hasn't been peaceful. I was just going to ask, for any reason you feel that it's okay for a protester to wield a foreign country's flag on our country, not just entry but Russia. We've seen growing attention and growing influence of Russia in West Africa, and it's begs to say whether the people from the north are actually inviting Russian interference into our system. Even though we have had people react, that the army has said something about it, the police have reacted, the presidency have also reacted, that everyone on the right path if you protest to the extent that there is no, in any way, chaos or killing or whatnot. But what do you say about that? And then to what extent do you think that this protest has even achieved its goal of even in the first place? Because you've said that the president didn't even refer to any of the demands that the protesters actually asked him for. Barrister Kingdom, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I'm sure you're still.
What was the question?
Sorry?
I said, what was the last question you asked?
Okay, I was going to say that to what extent do you think that the protest so far has even achieved anything? It does look like it didn't achieve anything. That's one. We've seen people wield an international flag on our country, and the army is saying it's a treasonable offense. How do you react to that as someone who is also in that league of protesters?
Okay, well, like I said at the intro, I said that I'm an advocate of peaceful protest within the ambit of your constitutional rights. I cannot, as a lawyer who goes to court to defend the rule of law, to the provisions of the constitution, advocate for anarchy, advocate for criminality, tell people to vandalizing property of your fellow citizens or public properties in the name of protest. I believe protest within the ambit of the law that we have gathered, carried our symbol to set up corruption. We condemn governance. We condemn looting of public treasury. We demand that you display that in your placard. You speak out. Thank God the Nigeria is very proactive. They partner with us, give us the platform to speak out. That's protesting within the ambit of your freedom of assembly and freedom of speech. But when you now declare carrying a flag from another country, you are raising a Russian flag, it could mean different things. It could be treasonable. Maybe you are calling on Russia to now send its machinery to come and stalk you in Nigeria and now take over because you think maybe Nigeria partnering with our colonial masters is not favoring us, it's not favoring our economy, or because our partnership with the IMF and the World Bank, which is not favoring the masses. You think that if Russia come in with Ghana and Nigeria seizes its diplomatic relation with the West, with the IMF and the World Bank, that will be the best thing for Nigeria. And you are now Russian flag. Maybe you are now as citizens inviting Russia to come and intervene in regime change in Nigeria. That is treasonable felony. If you where I am protesting, I will fish you out and hand you over to security. If I see you looting and vandalizing public property and protesting where I have the platform to carry my placard to say stop corruption, to say government do the right thing, and I am speaking within the ambit of that the media partners have given us the platform to speak out. If I see you destroy the liberty of your fellow citizen or that of the public, I will fish you out. That is who I am. Believe doing things within the ambit of the law. So those people who have to the Russian flag, they could be perpetrating reasonable. If they are caught, maybe should be interrogated and the law should take its course. But if they are not with arms, Americans are expressing themselves to say we are tired of international partnership with IMF and the World Bank. It could also be a way of expressing their grievances. They could just be interrogated, the flag removed from them, and they are set free. If there is no you don't see any weapon on them, you cannot ascertain any further criminal intent. They should also be set free and the flag moved from them. So that is my advocacy, and it will always continue to advocacy, doing things within the ambit of the law. That is why we can be bold just enough to tell the government that your government is corrupt. Your government is placing priority on the things that should touch positively on the life of the man. You can't be talking about building billions of naira for what of building for the vice president. If all the previous vice presidents we had, they slept under the bridge. So you talking about subsidizing Hajj when people cannot feed their families.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate you. I mean, I'm sure that sometime later we're going to invite you further for your conversation. The network has really disturbed the conversation this morning, but it's fine. Your input on today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You people are doing very good. Thank you. Without you people, there's nothing the civil society can do. If we don't have the media to talk to tell the government where they are doing and where they are doing wrong, the society is doomed. That is why the media is called contested. Every reasonable person, every reasonable activist must appreciate the media always, because once you have the media, your message goes nowhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back after this short break. Just stay with us. Signature Morning continues after this.
Okay, so the hardship and hunger protests, you know about it, and even you're in the country or not in the country, people have felt some brow from it. Now we're asking, what is the key message that one should, is it that the president said, that we should note down, or are we confused? For those that are confused, or are they the ones, or is it the president that is confused? Is he, the president, really getting it right and we need to share in his life? Please help us expand and react to it.
Yeah, analysis as to the president's speech is very apt and on point. I participated in this. Not only me, we participated as lawyers in the Press of Democracy. One of the promoters of peaceful and violent free protest within the ambit of the law. I have been making this point known. All the views are granted. I said that I believe in peaceful protest within your constitutional rights. That is your freedom of assembly and your freedom of expression. As we Nigerians, we have the constitutional right to assemble and against the misgovernance, against corruption, against misery, against hopelessness that Nigerians have found themselves. have that constitutional right. Nobody can shut us from speaking out to say we are angry. Nobody can shut us from speaking out to say things are not going well in this. But this you are right to assemble, to speak out against bad governance, speak out against corruption, must be separated. I have always maintained that it must be separated from violence. If you say you are protesting and you are going about destroying the properties of citizens, vandalizing shops, looting shops, it's not protest, it's riot, it's criminality. If I see you, I notice you with my protest, you're part of my peaceful protest, and I see you embark on such criminality, I will out. I don't believe in violent riot. I don't believe in criminal protest. So the message is that we have sent the message clear to we have sent the message clear to the whole world that Nigerians are suffering. The president that you are not getting it right, that corruption is still there, and we expect the president to have reacted positively to the yearnings and cries of Nigerians. That the president tried to do in the speech, but unfortunately, the president addressed the issues. One of the issues that is agitating the minds of the protesters is the issue of corruption in the land. All the three major presidential candidates in the 2023 election identified something that was going to be removed because of the corruption in city, not because subsidy was not beneficial to Nigerians. Both Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, and President Tinubu himself identified that they were going to remove subsidy. Now, the issue is that subsidy having been removed, and we are feeling the heat now. All of us as citizens of Nigeria, we are all feeling the heat of the removal of subsidy. We are calling on the president to remove the corruption in subsidy and reform and restore subsidy. The president didn't do that. He didn't address that in his address. Remove the corruption in subsidy, reform and restore subsidy. That's how. How do you remove corruption in subsidy? Before the removal of subsidy, the presidential address in 2023 inaugural speech of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we had various false projections as what was our daily consumption of petroleum. So for the people at the help of affairs of NNPC, that is the group managing director of NNPC, and the chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Sector, that they had embarked on fraudulent subsidy with false projection, false daily projection.
All right, Barrister Kingdom.
So we are calling on the government to remove. Yes.
I was going to ask. I mean, removal of fuel subsidy was inevitable. Three president candidates in the last election says they were going to do it anyway. So there was no way, so to speak, even though some people would argue that the way and manner the current president did it may not have gone down well with most people. Having said that, the demand that you are talking about, which is trying to clean up the mess in the subsidy transactions of Nigeria, you have said that if the president cleans up that particular department, we would have a little more, as to having more monies for the government for development. But it does seem like this process is somewhat misdirected, because as it stands, government now has more monies, the state government more monies with the removal of fuel subsidy, at least the one that we have done, but it does not look like this money is trickling down. Don't you think this process should be directed at the governors of states that have not done anything so much so to alleviate the poverty and hunger of people in their states? Okay, it's almost as if Barrister Kingdom isn't on the line this morning. So we would see how we can connect to him. Brandon, did you hear the question?
Yes, you were talking about the inevitability of removal of subsidy, that it was inevitable.
Right.
Hello?
Yes, go
Hello?
ahead.
Yes, so like I said that the three presidential candidates, the three major presidential candidates, P2B, Atiku, and Tinubu, they all identified subsidy as something that was going to be removed. They are saying that before the removal of subsidy in Tinubu's presidential address in 2020, Nigerians never really know that we benefited from subsidy, all of us as Nigerians, either directly or indirectly. And the inevitability of removal of subsidy was occasioned by the.
All right, so we're having issues with the connection with our guest, Barrister Kingdom. When we get the connection right, we would reconnect with him. Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back after this. Do stay with us.